The rain hammered against Helena's apartment windows like impatient fingers tapping on glass. It was almost midnight when she heard the 3 knocks on the door, weak, hesitant, almost inaudible under the noise of the storm. Helena paused the documentary she was watching, frowning. Nobody visited her at that hour. Actually, nobody visited her ever. Not since she broke up with Raphael 6 months ago, not since she decided it was better to be alone than beside someone who made her feel invisible. The knocks came again, more urgent this time. She got up from the couch, pulling her robe tight against her body. Through the crack under the door, she saw the shadow of someone standing there. Her heart raced. "Who is it?" Her voice came out firmer than she felt. Silence. Only the rain responding. Helena put her hand on the doorknob, but something made her hesitate. That uncomfortable feeling in the pit of her stomach, instinct telling her something was wrong. She looked through the peephole and her blood ran cold. A man. Tall, drenched, holding his shoulder with his hand. And between his fingers, dripping along with the rainwater, there was blood. A lot of blood. My God. Helena stepped back, her hand trembling on the doorknob. The man lifted his face toward the door, as if he knew she was there watching. His eyes were clouded with pain, his face pale under the dim hallway light. And then he opened his mouth, whispering something she couldn't hear through the door. But she read his lips. Helena. He had said her name. Helena's legs weakened. How did he know her name? Who was this man? She should call the police, should scream for help, should do anything except what her fingers were doing at that moment, turning the doorknob and opening the door. The man stumbled forward and she instinctively caught him, feeling his weight against her body. He was heavy, solid, and trembling violently. "Please." His voice was hoarse, broken. "Please help me." Helena dragged him inside, closing the door with her foot. Her heart was beating so hard she could hear it in her ears. She guided him to the couch, where he collapsed with a groan of pain. Under the living room light, she could see him better. Dark hair stuck to his forehead from the rain, strong jaw marked by stubble, and those eyes, even clouded with pain, they were a deep brown that seemed strangely familiar. "Who are you?" Helena asked, keeping her distance. "How do you know my name?" The man looked at her for a long moment, something indefinable passing across his face. "Pain? Sadness? Regret? You don't recognize me?" He whispered. "Recognize? I've never seen you in my life." He closed his eyes, an expression of agony crossing his face. And it wasn't just physical pain. The wound. Helena said, forcing herself to focus. "I need to see the wound." With trembling hands, she helped him remove the blood-soaked jacket. Underneath, his shirt was torn and stained red. Helena pulled the fabric and held her breath. A deep cut on his shoulder, still bleeding. But it didn't look like a gunshot. It looked like a stab wound. "I'm calling an ambulance," she said, grabbing her phone. His hand gripped her wrist with surprising strength. "No. Please. You can't call anyone. You're injured. You need a hospital. If you call someone, they'll find me. And if they find me," he swallowed hard, "you'll be in danger too." Helena felt a chill run down her spine. "Who will find you? What are you talking about?" His eyes fixed on hers, and in that moment, something happened. Like a flash of memory, a déjà vu so intense it made her step back. Those eyes. She knew those eyes. But from where? Helena grabbed the first aid kit from the kitchen, her hands still trembling as she organized gauze, antiseptic, and bandages on the coffee table. The man watched her in silence, leaning back on the couch, one hand pressing the wound. "This is going to hurt," she warned, approaching with the antiseptic. "I'm already used to pain," he murmured. She began cleaning the wound and he flinched, but didn't make a sound. Helena worked in silence, but her mind was in turmoil. Those eyes. Why couldn't she stop thinking about those eyes? August 23rd. He said suddenly, making her pause. "You were wearing a blue dress. It had white flowers printed on it." Helena froze, the gauze still pressed against his shoulder. "What? Your first day at university. You were late for Portuguese literature class because the bus broke down. You sat in the back row, near the window. You spent the whole class biting the tip of your pen, nervous." Helena's heart raced. That had happened 10 years ago. How did he know that? "Who are you?" Her voice came out in a strangled whisper. He raised his eyes to her, and there was so much emotion there that Helena felt her chest tighten. September 15th. He continued, each word painful to pronounce. You tripped on the library stairs and dropped your books. Someone helped you pick them up. You smiled and said thank you, but you were in such a hurry you barely looked at the person. Helena dropped the gauze, stepping back. Her brain was trying to process, connect dots that didn't make sense. I was there, Helena. I've always been there. No, that's impossible. I would remember. October 4th. You stayed late at the library studying for a test. When you left, it was already night and it was dark. You took the shortcut through the empty parking lot. Helena remembered. God, she remembered perfectly. It had been one of the scariest nights of her life. There were 3 men. He continued, his voice getting deeper. They followed you, surrounded you in the parking lot. Helena's hands began to tremble. She remembered the terror, the feeling of absolute panic. And then, someone appeared. She whispered. Someone drove them away. I tried to thank them, but when I turned around, there was no one there. I was there. Why? Tears began to burn her eyes. Why were you there? Why were you following me? The man closed his eyes, resting his head on the couch. When he spoke again, his voice was loaded with a pain that went beyond the physical wound. Because protecting you was all I had left. Helena felt her legs weaken and sat in the armchair across from him. Her mind was racing, trying to piece together a puzzle she didn't even know existed. You owe me an explanation. Now. He stared at her for a long moment, as if deciding something. Finally, with a deep sigh that sounded more like surrender, he spoke. My name is Gabriel. And 10 years ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Helena waited, her heart pounding in her chest. I was 19. I was young, stupid, and involved with dangerous people. Gambling debts, money I had no way to pay. He paused, his jaw tight. They gave me a choice. Either I paid one way or another. What does this have to do with me? Gabriel's eyes met hers, and Helena saw tears forming there. You had a brother. Mateus. Helena's world stopped. Simply stopped. She hadn't heard that name in years. Not since the accident. Not since that horrible night 10 years ago when the police knocked on her door at 3 in the morning to say that Mateus was dead. No. She whispered, standing up abruptly. No. Don't talk about my brother. Helena, please. Mateus's accident wasn't an accident. The silence that followed was deafening. Helena stood paralyzed, his words echoing in the room like a gunshot. What? Gabriel ran his hand over his face, and when he looked at her again, tears were streaming down his cheeks. I told them where your brother would be that night. I gave them the information. I didn't know. God, I didn't know what they were going to do. They said they were just going to scare him, make him pay money they thought he owed. But they forced his car off the road. Helena couldn't breathe. The room was spinning, and I ran away like a coward. I disappeared that same night. But before I left, I saw you. At the hospital. You were there, sitting in the waiting room, your face in your hands, destroyed. And in that moment, I knew I had destroyed much more than your brother's life. I had destroyed you too. Helena didn't know how long she stood there, looking at that stranger who had appeared at her door bringing with him the truth about the worst night of her life. Her legs gave way and she sat on the floor, hugging her knees to her chest. 10 years. She whispered. 10 years I thought it was an accident. That Mateus had lost control of the car in the rain. Helena, I'm sorry. No. Her voice came out as a scream. Don't tell me you're sorry. You don't have the right to feel anything. Gabriel nodded slowly, accepting her fury. You're right. Why did you come back? The tears finally began to fall. Why did you show up after all these years? Because they found me. The same people. And this time, they found out about you. Helena raised her eyes, fear replacing anger for a moment. After that night, I spent years running. Changed my name, city, entire life. But I never stopped watching over you. From afar, always from afar. I didn't deserve your gratitude, your forgiveness, nothing. But I could at least try to keep you safe. It was the least I could do after taking Mateus from you. He leaned forward, wincing with the pain of the wound, but keeping his eyes fixed on her. 3 days ago, they found me. And when they interrogated me, they discovered I had a weak spot. You. Helena felt the blood freeze in her veins. They're coming after me to finish what they started 10 years ago. And now they're going to use you to lure me in. I came to warn you. I came to get you out of here before it's too late. I should turn you into the police. Helena said, but her voice was without strength. You should. I deserve to be in prison for the rest of my life. But first, you need to be safe. Helena ran her hands over her face, trying to process all of this. 10 years of mourning, of believing that Mateus had simply been unlucky that night. And now to discover it had been planned, that someone had deliberately taken her brother from her. Did you know he was all I had? She asked, her voice breaking. Our parents died when I was 15. Mateus was 18. He dropped everything to take care of me. Worked 2 jobs so I could go to university. He was my brother, my father, my mother, my best friend. He was everything. I know. Gabriel whispered. I know because I spent 10 years watching the hole he left in your life. I saw you crying alone on your birthday. I saw you sit at his grave every week for 3 straight years. I saw you close yourself off from the world, give up on dreams, settle for less because the pain was too great. Helena stared at him, surprised and violated by that invasion. You had no right to see any of that. I didn't. But I saw anyway. And every tear of yours was a punishment I deserved to watch. She stood up slowly, wiping away the tears. She walked to the window, looking at the rain outside. The storm was diminishing, but the chaos inside her was only increasing. There's one thing I don't understand, she said without turning around. Why didn't you leave? Why did you keep watching over me all these years? If you felt so guilty, why didn't you just disappear for good? The silence that followed was heavy. When Gabriel finally answered, his voice was loaded with an emotion that made Helena turn to look at him. Because at some point, protecting you stopped being just about guilt. It stopped being about Mateus. Helena's heart skipped a beat. I know I have no right to feel anything for you. I know I'm the last person in the world who should be saying this. But watching you all these years, seeing your strength, your kindness, how you rebuilt your life piece by piece even when the world had shattered you. Helena, I fell in love with you. And I know that's sick. I know it's wrong in every possible way. Stop. Helena interrupted, bringing her hand to her chest. She couldn't breathe. Just stop. I came here today not just to save you. I came to finally face what I did. To give you the truth I denied all these years. And after that, whatever you decide to do with me, turn me into the police, throw me out, hate me forever, I'll accept it. Because you deserve to have control of your own story. Helena looked at that man. Wounded, crying, broken. The man who had ruined her life. The man who also, apparently, had spent 10 years trying to protect her from the shadows. I should hate you, she said. I should hate you more than anything in the world. I know. Mateus was everything to me. And you took him from me. I know. But those other times. She paused, closing her eyes. When those men surrounded me. When I was almost mugged coming back from the market 3 years ago. When my ex started stalking me and suddenly he just stopped. Gabriel said nothing, but he didn't need to. It was you. It was always you. It doesn't change what I did. No. It doesn't change anything. Helena opened her eyes, staring at him. But I also can't ignore it. The silence between them was broken by the sound of Gabriel's phone vibrating. He picked it up and his face paled even more. They're close. We have to leave. Now. I'm not going anywhere until. A crash from the hallway interrupted them. The sound of a door being broken down. Low, threatening voices. Gabriel jumped up, ignoring the pain of the wound. Fire escape. Now. Helena hesitated only a second before running to the bedroom. Gabriel followed her, locking the door behind them. They could hear heavy footsteps approaching, someone testing the doorknob of the apartment door. Go, Gabriel said, pushing her toward the window. I'll hold them here. Are you crazy? You can barely stand. Exactly. That's why you need to go. Helena stared at him, and in that moment, absolute clarity hit her. She could hate this man. She could condemn him for the rest of her life for taking Mateus from her. But she also wasn't going to let him die. Together or neither of us goes, she said, grabbing his arm. Something passed across Gabriel's face, surprise, perhaps gratitude, perhaps love, but there was no time to process. The apartment door gave way with a crash. They went out the window onto the fire escape just as the bedroom door began to be broken down. The rain had diminished to a fine drizzle, making the metal steps slippery and dangerous. Helena descended first, Gabriel right behind, holding his wounded shoulder. They could hear voices shouting above them. There, on the stairs, Helena's heart raced. They descended as fast as they could, but Gabriel was losing strength, each step visible torture on his face. When they reached the alley, she pulled him into the shadows, hiding behind some trash containers. They could hear footsteps descending the fire escape. Gabriel was breathing with difficulty, the wound bleeding again. Helena took off her coat and pressed it against his shoulder. "Hold on," she whispered. "Helena." He held her hand. "If they catch me, you run. Don't look back. Just run." "Shut up." He almost smiled. "You're exactly like Mateus was. Stubborn. Too brave for your own good." Tears returned to Helena's eyes. "Don't talk about my brother. You don't have the right. I know. But I need you to know something. That night, before everything happened, Mateus told me something. He was talking about you on the phone, saying how proud he was that you were in college. He said you were the most important person in his life. That he would do anything to protect you." Gabriel looked deep into her eyes. "I stole from him the chance to continue protecting you. So I spent 10 years trying to do what he would do. It doesn't erase what I did. Nothing will ever erase it. But I needed you to know that every day of those 10 years, I tried to honor his memory by protecting the sister he loved more than anything." Helena covered her mouth with her hand, sobs threatening to escape. The footsteps were closer now. Voices talking in the alley. "Last chance." Gabriel whispered. "You can still go. They only want me." Helena looked at him. At that man who had destroyed her life but also, somehow tortuously, had spent a decade trying to fix it. She thought of Mateus, how he always said everyone deserves a second chance. How he believed in redemption. And she made the most impossible decision of her life. "I'm calling the police," she said. "But we do this together. You tell the whole truth. About Mateus, about these people, about everything." "Helena." "No. That's how it's going to be. You're going to face what you did. You'll probably go to prison. But you're going to do it the right way. And those men who killed my brother? They're going down with you." Gabriel stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he nodded. Helena picked up her phone with trembling hands and dialed 911. "Police? My name is Helena Ferreira. I'm in the alley behind the building on Acacia Street, 143. There are armed men here and I have information about a homicide from 10 years ago. About the death of Mateus Ferreira." She squeezed Gabriel's hand as she spoke, and he squeezed back. When the sirens began to sound in the distance, the men in the alley ran. And Helena and Gabriel remained there, in the shadows, waiting. Helena parked the car in front of the prison, turning off the engine but remaining seated for a moment. She had been coming there once a month for 3 years. Always on the last Sunday. Gabriel had confessed everything. The names, the circumstances, the complete details of the night that took Mateus from her. With his testimony, 5 people were arrested, including himself. He received 8 years for complicity, but the prosecutor reduced the sentence for cooperation and for the fact that, technically, he hadn't participated directly in the crime. Helena would enter the visitation room soon. But first, as she always did, she stopped at the cemetery on the way. She knelt in front of Mateus's tombstone, placing the flowers she had brought. "Hi, bro," she whispered. "Sorry I didn't come last week. Work was crazy." The wind blew softly, swaying the trees around. "I finally finished the master's degree you always wanted me to do. Can you believe it? Thesis on contemporary Portuguese literature. You would have laughed at me, saying I was always too much of a nerd." She smiled through the tears. "And I met someone. It's not what you're thinking. It's not like that. But it's someone who knew you. Who told me about you. Who carries you in a way I can't explain." Helena ran her fingers over the tombstone. "I don't know if you would approve. I don't know if what I feel is forgiveness or just exhaustion from carrying hate. But I know you always said everyone deserves a second chance. That people can change." She stayed there a few more minutes before getting up and heading to the prison. In the visitation room, Gabriel was already waiting. He had scars now, from the wound that night and from other things that happened in the years in prison. But his eyes, those deep brown eyes, still had the same intensity. "Helena," he said softly when she sat down. "Gabriel." They looked at each other for a moment, all that shared weight passing between them without words. "How are you?" he asked. "Better. I finished my master's degree." A genuine smile lit up his face. "Mateus would be so proud." "I know." Silence settled, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It never was during these visits. 5 more years, Gabriel said. "And then I'm free. If they let me out early for good behavior, maybe 4. Helena nodded. "And then? Then I'm leaving. Going somewhere where nobody knows me. Starting over. For real this time." "Alone?" Gabriel looked at her, and there was an unspoken question in those eyes. A question he would never ask because he knew he didn't have the right. Helena took a deep breath. "I don't know what the future holds, Gabriel. I don't know if there will ever be in US or if this is just this. Monthly visits and careful conversations. I don't expect anything from you, Helena. I never have. I know. And that's exactly why I keep coming." She leaned forward, her eyes meeting his. "You destroyed my life. You took the person I loved most in the world. And you also spent 10 years in the shadows, protecting what was left of me. That doesn't erase what you did. Nothing will ever erase it. I know." But Mateus believed in second chances. He believed people could grow, change, become better. And I need to believe that too. Otherwise, what's left? Gabriel nodded slowly, tears forming in his eyes. "So I keep coming. And when you get out, we'll see what happens. One day at a time. One day at a time," he repeated. Helena stood up to leave, but paused. "Gabriel, Mateus would have forgiven you. Eventually. He was like that. He saw the best in people, even when they didn't deserve it." Gabriel's voice failed. "And you? Do you forgive me?" Helena looked at him for a long moment, all the pain and complexity of the last years reflected in her eyes. "I'm trying. Every day, I'm trying." And as she left the visitation room, her heart still heavy but perhaps a little bit lighter than 3 years ago, Helena thought of Mateus. How he always said that true love wasn't about grand romantic gestures, but about choosing to stay, choosing to try, choosing to believe that tomorrow could be better than today. She didn't know if she would ever love Gabriel. She didn't know if she could completely forget his role in Mateus's death. But she knew she would keep trying, because that's what Mateus would do. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.